We begin with breaking news that DC activity is on the decline. That DC activity is on the decline. It's currently about prime time. Everyone's out of school now. And there are currently only 7 players in DC. This could stem from the fact that municipal elections were recently cancelled due to low player counts within DC, which is bad news for us here in Noosa. The White House is doing everything they can. Every day I've seen pings, but they're pings for DC server startups, but they never choose the right time. They choose immediately after school. Some people aren't home yet. Some people are busy. Or the afternoon. Wait until prime time. Wait until like a prime time to get the players. They need to wait until a prime time to get the players on. They need to choose a good time there. And I don't think the government is honestly doing enough to combat this inactivity crisis. It's a huge problem right now, and we need to find out a way to combat it. It's a bit of it's very sad to see the community in this state. Okay, so I would say crime didn't ruin DC. One type of crime did. Mass spawn killing. That is what I think what made a lot of people dislike DC, not play DC. That's because it's not fun to get constantly spawn killed. So it's understandable, and the game hasn't been updated. That's an issue on the clan manager's part. But as they've said, that how the toxicity and how we've been treating them doesn't make them feel motivated to update the game, which is a huge problem. I think both sides, both the clan managers and the community, they both need to do better. Look, if you look, there are 3 people at the spawn. Look how many civilians. 1, 2, 3. Only one of them's not at the spawn. Look. So, see? So that's how small it is. They're just chilling at the visitor spawn. It's weird to see. It's weird. It honestly is also weird to not hear gunshots in DC. It's honestly weird not hear gunshots within DC, but Noosa at this point is just a Discord roleplay, which is sad. More government business should be happening in game. Yeah, government business should happen. I think government business should happen in game, because that would be the best way to combat inactivity in DC and stuff like. I'm thinking both the community and the clan managers need to do better here. It's honestly not 100% the clan managers' fault that DC is inactive. It's only partially their fault. It's also the government's fault for not making sure departments remain active. I think the government should instate a quota for department leaders to hold two mass patrols a day, and each department could have it so organized so they're each on their own so they're each on their own days. If you do that, each day at certain times, there will be a boost in activity because departments are holding mass patrols. But another issue, what if law enforcement takes over the entire server? Okay then, Okay, yeah, and I think we should also, the government should hold weekly server startups. Ronald Sites, when he did, I think it was ValueWise or Ronald Sites, who did this Las Vegas server startup. That was a very successful server startup. If we can do stuff like that in DC, I think it would be amazing. It would be hugely beneficial to the community. It would be hugely beneficial to the community. And why are you canceling mayoral elections when you know that even though that will probably do more harm than good to the activity within DC? Just think about it. Think about it. I mean, come on. It's honestly very sad to see the community in a state like this. Who killed me now? It's honestly real sad to see our community. It's sad to see our community in a state like this. It's hoping things will get better for DC, but it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a long time before. It's gonna take a long time before they do, which is the sad reality. Which is the sad reality of things here in Noosa right now. Oh, we can't just sit there and hope that DC will become active. We need to take practical action to do so, like hold server startups. Departments need to do mass patrols during those server startups. It's insane. It's crazy. Wow. It is insane. It is sad to see how inactive the community quickly became just in the month of May. I swear, I have to say this is probably the worst month in Noosa history, and Ralph promised to keep the community active. He's trying, but buddy, I don't think you're doing enough. That does not mean he isn't working to improve activity. He is, but he isn't doing enough. But what he's doing is I do not think will end up being enough to fight back against inactivity in this community. Which is sad. I think Ralph is trying his best here. And it's honestly saddening to see this. Regarding this inactivity crisis, as an announcement, today we're going across the nation. We're gonna head to all of the cities within Noosa, about this inactivity crisis. So tomorrow and after the stream we're in the Noosa Discord, we're going to vote whether we're gonna do both, but which one should we do tomorrow night? Because we're gonna go to Ridgeway, Las Vegas, and Ridgeway and Las Vegas. So should we go Las Vegas tomorrow or should we go to Ridgeway tomorrow? Well, that's up to the viewer to decide. I thought that would be fun, so I'm hoping. So be sure to vote in that. It's gonna be really fun. But back to what I was saying about. Back to another story. Tonight we have another story about the House. I think the House Trello board was hacked and causing the State of the Union to be postponed, and it's now on the 29th. It's now on the 29th. the most active part of the government right now, I would say, is the House. They only passed a bill that would help fight off the inactivity crisis somehow. It is okay. So Ridgeway's very active. The clan manager said they didn't want to compete with DC, but together, which is good. But it was like that at first, but now unfortunately Ridgeway started sort of competing with DC in a way. I've seen like Speaker of the House now is human, and Ridgeway, he's law enforcement. And I don't have any problems with Ridgeway. I'm even considering expanding FTN to Ridgeway, so we can keep FTN in Noosa, even if DC completely dies and goes the way of Las Vegas. So, to our two viewers in the chat right now, what do you have to? What are your takes on this inactivity crisis? As I wait, I'm going to tell you what's coming up next. Next at 7:30, the Generals take. No, not the Generals. The Wheeling Thunderbirds take on the Dublin Shamrocks in the BMHL. That's coming up next. But chat, what do you think about the inactivity crisis? Chat? Or are you gonna say nothing? Apparently they're not gonna say anything. So anyways, I'm saying it's actually, I have one question. I have a question. The question of the day today is, what should the government do about this inactivity? It's really hard to ignore this inactivity. So now we're gonna ask the question, and so we're now gonna ask that. We're now gonna see. So we're gonna go. Let's find out. I'm making the poll right now, so we're gonna. So it should be in Las Vegas or Ridgeway County tomorrow. So I hope I'm hoping there is gonna be. I'm hoping that activity will improve, but we're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to work on that. So FTN is going to be. So FTN's one of FTN's top missions now is going to be not just to bring you the news. That's gonna be we're still gonna make that our mission that mission stays the same. But we have another goal right now. FTN, we now have another goal. Making sure Noosa is as active as possible, trying to bring back activity into the community. If you have any suggestions, go into the show suggestions channel if you have any ideas on how we could improve activity within the community. I'm sorry, I'm fidgeting with these the wire on it. It's a bit like I don't know. Honestly, it's disappointing to see that our community is so inactive here in DC, and how Las Vegas is just completely dead. Nobody talks about it anymore. What should be done to save DC? What should be done? What? I'm serious. What do you think? What do you think should be done? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of inactivity. Soon at 6:30 there will be a house session. I'll post there. You can head to the house chambers if you want to watch that. And should FTN's broadcast the majority of the house sessions, but the only reason we're not going to broadcast, I would broadcast this one tonight as a part of our FTN News Tonight broadcast, because I would make it a part of News Tonight because I wanted to make the show. I would want to make the show longer, but I'm not going to because we have another game. We have another broadcast coming up next on FTN. 28. Anyways, thank you for watching FTN News Tonight. I'm Greg Jakers 1113. The BMHL regular season coming up next. The matchup is going to be the Shamrocks and the Wheeling Thunderbirds. Coverage will start at 7:15. Good night. Good night, and see you in Dublin. We're going to Dublin for the BMHL game. Get everybody. Just good night.
Racist gamer.